What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I do my 10,000 steps today. And I'm stepping, watching stuff, seeing what's going on in the world. And I see the Harris campaign. They have pressed the button. They have broken the glass and pressed the in case of emergency button. And what I mean by that is they got y'all boy Obama out there speaking up for Kamala. They got him on the payroll. I mean, I ain't mad at them for employing this tactic, honestly, because they are desperately trying to get the black vote. They've been struggling with it, and it seems like, it's October. Election is next month, right? So they really trying hard to go after the black vote. It has not really been working. Kamala, with bottles of hot sauce and talking about she washed greens in the tub, that's just not working, man. All that superficial stuff is not working, especially when you have things that she's done that directly affected the black community. She's now trying to come to the black community for support. It's just not going to work. You have a woman that, when she was the DA in California, locked up more black men than any other DA in history. You have also the fact that she intentionally suppressed evidence, kept things from coming out that would have either resulted in people being acquitted or being able to even, get a retrial. Why? All because she cared more about protecting her record than justice. So this just wasn't the case for black men. She did this with black women as well. So she had no use for black folks until now. She played the person of color, the very ambiguous person of color card when, she was on the campaign trail with Biden initially. She hoped that black folks would run with that narrative of her being black, but wouldn't correct you. She knew she wasn't black like that. In fact, from what it seems like, she's not black at all. Her dad is like Irish and something. He just happens to be, darker skin, but that doesn't make you African American, the way she's been trying so very hard this time around to convince us of. Like, it's been a concerted effort this time around to push that narrative because she desperately needs it, but it's not going to work. So they got Obama on the payroll. Obama was at what seems like to be her headquarters. And, he's on camera, so he's trying to, see if he could possibly get black people on board. He mentioned how, and these are his words, there hasn't been the same enthusiasm this time around as it was when he was running. Well, no shit. There was an enthusiasm for Obama for a few reasons. Obama was very charming. He was very charismatic. Obviously, first African-American man running for president. He's really mulatto, but he was pushing the whole I'm a black man thing. And, he looked the part, so he's able to get away with this. Far more than Kamala, who, just let's be real here, she's not black at all. But Obama had a lot of things going for him. He had the whole Hope campaign. That speech, Yes We Can, was absolutely brilliant. Obama just had everything going for him. He's very well spoken. Just, you couldn't have test tube created a better candidate than Obama was. We had that 4 years with W that a lot of people were looking back on as being not so great. And John McCain, though capable, he was old. So I think he lost a lot of steam, even though I think he would have been a great president. I mean, like, really, John McCain, they just don't make him like him no more, man, really. So I think he would have been a very capable president. But he was so old at the time, and he chose Sarah Palin as a running mate. And for a lot of people, the fear was that something would happen to him and now she would become commander-in-chief. That was just a scenario that people were not willing to entertain as much as they would have liked McCain. Just the fear of something happening to him and Sarah Palin being in charge was just too much. So he's skip forward to now, and Obama is basically using shame tactics. And I hate that this is the case for him. I really do. I mean, he getting a bag out of it, I'm sure. You don't get the level of influence that he has for free. You're definitely gonna have to pay for it. It just reminded me of the same tactic that Kamala and them used not too long ago when they were here in Michigan. Had Magic Johnson come out and use some shame tactics. Magic Johnson is about them dollars. He always been about them dollars. Dude from Lansing did very well for himself with the Lakers, and then transitioned after his career ended into a highly successful businessman. And you know, him being from Michigan, he wasn't about to come all the way here to speak there, and they wasn't talking about no dollars. So if you had to pay for his type of influence, you definitely gonna have to pay for Obama's. Obama is not doing this shit for free. So he did what he being paid to do. You know, he speaking, but the way he going about it is not going to help. He basically just saying some of the same stuff that black men don't want to hear, which is get behind this woman. He tried to say how, you know, black women have basically been in our back the whole time, you know, because he addressed the elephant in the room about some of you just aren't feeling a woman being president. So he did touch on the fact that not only is there a lack of enthusiasm this time around compared to when he was running, but it's really strongly the case when it comes to black men. Well, yeah, that is the case. Again, you have to look at what Kamala was when she was the DA. Now, if you're a black man, why in the world would you be in support of a woman that you know full well was going out like with a vengeance, like with black men? What's that? I don't know what that guy just said. He almost got into an accident. He yelled something. I guess he was hearing me talk to you guys. He yelled something. I think I heard racist. I don't know. And then he spun around the corner, almost running into somebody, trying to avoid me saying, "What'd you say?" But I don't know. People are weird, especially when it comes to politics. So y'all see, man, it's very weird out here. I'm around a school. So, you know, talking politics around a school is very triggering for some people, especially if you're not leaning a certain way, if you're leaning one way as opposed to another way. If you're over here by a school, you're really going to run into some of the weird stuff. As y'all see in real time, I am now. But as I was saying, you know, Obama's talking about, you know, amongst black men, you know, the enthusiasm isn't there. But you got to look at the fact of what Kamala was doing when she was the DA. Like, she was with a vengeance, locking up black folks, you know, like at a higher rate than anybody before. And the very shady thing of blocking people from being able to justly get their freedom just because she wanted the record. So black folks were disposable to her. Black folks were a tool to be used and thrown away when it came to her political career then, and now they are now. You know, the only reason why she so desperately is trying to employ black folks is because she sees she's messed up. She's messed up. She couldn't care less about us. She said before recently that she wasn't going to do anything specifically for black people. She said that before. You know, but you know who did? The very guy who they love to call a racist. You know, Donald Trump, the very guy who they love to try to convince me is a racist. I don't know if he is or he isn't, all right? I really don't know. I really don't care. But what I can say is this. You have a man who made sure HBCUs got hundreds of millions of dollars in funding, and that's the guy they're calling the racist. But you, the people who are not racist, okay, let's get that part there. You, the people who aren't racist, You have a VP who locked up more black men than any other DA in history, and flat out said she was never going to do anything for Black America. So, I mean, that really don't make a whole lot of sense here, man. You got the guy who you claiming is racist that did things specifically for black people, and the people who are claiming they aren't, saying that they're not going to do anything specifically for black people. And really, honestly, it's not about doing things specifically for black people, because if Trump didn't do anything specifically for black people, if he did not, send money to HBCUs, I still will feel better about him than I do about Kamala and them, simply because of Kamala's track record when it came to locking up black men, and simply by the fact that if you look at between 2016 and 2020, you cannot deny that we were better off during those years than we have been these last 4 years. Now, people could say COVID happened and all this sort of stuff, and I'm not saying that these things didn't play some factor. What I'm saying is that these people made key decisions that also disrupted things. The vote for inflation was 50 to 49. Okay, Kamala was the deciding factor in that vote that has led to the inflation that we're dealing with now. We're supposed to just ignore that? Really, we're supposed to ignore that? Biden, listen, I live in Detroit, okay? We not only put the world on wheels, we keep the country on wheels even now. Him with that stupid ass electric car push that he was doing had a huge negative impact on our way of life here. Like, really, that stuff was so stupid, how he was trying so hard to push the auto industry to have a completely electric fleet by 2035, and no one wanted to buy electric. That had a colossal negative impact on us. Now, he ended up relaxing it to like 2050 or something like that, but the damage was already done. So you have an administration, and Biden has already said this on record, that pretty much decisions that he had, Kamala was always in the room. She always had influence on it. There was nothing that he did that she could not do. So give me a break with the whole, oh, she was the VP, it's all on Biden thing. No, that's not the case at all. She's just as guilty as he is. And why in the world would you promote somebody who took part in being part of the problem? You know, if you have somebody that tears up stuff, you don't turn around and hire that person to fix things. It just doesn't make sense. So you have this person, they wreck shit, they fuck shit up, shit's worse than it ever was before, and they're like, oh, even though I did nothing to fix anything this time around, give me 4 more years and I'll reverse all the things that I screwed up over the last 4 years that up till a month ago I was denying was ever a problem to begin with. Make that make sense. So it really doesn't matter who they have speak for them, Magic Johnson, Barrack Obama. It doesn't matter what desperate play they make. It's not going to galvanize the black vote behind them, because we see for a fact that these last 4 years, these people have not made any decisions that would make our life easier in any way. Like, I mean, hey, forget making decisions that would have made our lives easier. How about you just not make decisions that make our lives worse? If you would have made decisions that would have just kept things the same, like they were under Trump, I'd have been cool. But y'all made every decision possible. Let me go by here away from this wind. You guys made every decision possible to make life worse, not maintain it the same way it was over the previous 4 years. You made every decision you possibly could that would make things worse. And now that things are worse, which you denied were worse for the last 4 years, now you're like, hey, vote for me and I'll fix all of the stuff that we've been denying was bad over the last 4 years. It doesn't work, man. Nobody's falling for that stuff. So Obama try as he might. This ain't 2008. He don't have the influence like he used to have, especially when people are going to take the last 4 years and compare it to the previous 4 years under Trump. There's no slant Obama can possibly put on this that is going to win people over. So I don't know what they're going to do. I understand them bringing him in to speak, but it's just not going to work this time. It's just not. So appreciate y'all connecting with me, man. You finished doing these steps. Thumbs up, subscribe. Later.